and welcome to Somerville Highlander Baseball on Somerville NTV. I'm Todd Harmon, and today the Highlanders welcome in the Red Devils of Chelsea for GBL action to Trum Field. As the Highlanders out to a tough start this season, only one win so far this year for the Highlanders. That came at Land English earlier this year, a 12. Let's see here. Caleb Seeley is on the mound for the Highlanders as he gets in and gets the signal from Graham Ross, and we are underway. Fly ball out into center field as Tommy Griffin will settle underneath that one. And one pitch, one down for Mr. Seeley. As Caleb, getting his first start of the season for the Highlanders, was able to get Elijah Rivera right there to fly out to center field. That will bring up Ludy Ramon Sanchez, the third baseman for the Red Devils. Seeley comes in, a few appearances this year in relief, getting his first start. Has a fastball curveball combination. So Ludy Ramon Sanchez settling in, the third baseman for the Red Devils. One away here after the fly out by Elijah Rivera. That's a chopper back to the mound. Seeley, nice play on the short hop, tosses it over to first. There is the out, number 2. That will bring up Luis Soto-Lara. Soto-Lara, the shortstop for Chelsea. Chelsea struggling this year, winless on the season. Of course, the Highlanders starting out struggling as well. We had their game last week against Revere, a gutting loss for the Highlanders in extra innings. As they had the lead going into the 7th inning, were not able to hold that lead as Revere tied that one up, and were able to get the winning run across in extras. Preston Ardolino, an absolutely phenomenal pitching performance as Seeley runs even to Soto-Lara. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count. 2 away here, top half of the first inning, just underway as the Highlanders look to start a winning streak. Talking to head coach Matt O'Donnell, he wants to start a winning streak today. They've got Medford coming in tomorrow, Malden on Wednesday. Malden leading the GBL as the curveball catches the outside for called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strike now to Soto-Lara. Highlanders with this tough start to the season. They've had excellent pitching as that's lined out into center field. Griffin coming in, diving to make the play, unable to, gets behind him. He'll fire that back in as Soto-Lara made the turn, but he's going to head on back to first. Griffin did a nice job there, chasing that ball down after it got by him, making that diving attempt. So Soto-Lara will be on at first. That'll bring up Xavier Santiago, the first baseman. They call him X. He settles in against Seeley. Soto-Lara at first, swing and a miss at the heat from Seeley. Santiago down, no balls and a strike. 2 away here, top half of the first inning, just underway from Trum Field here on Somerville NTV. As they've got Soto-Lara picked off, Fusco will take it from second base, fire it down to O'Brien, and on the 1-4-3 pickoff, they are able to take care of Soto-Lara. That will do it for the top half of the first inning. We'll move to the bottom half from Trum Field as the Highlanders come up in the bottom here on Somerville NTV. Back at Trum Field here on Somerville NTV as we move to the bottom half of the first inning. Highlanders have the top of the order. Sean Fusco, Preston Ardolino, and Colin Bourne coming up to face off against the righty Kendry De Los Santos, making his 3rd start of the season. 0-2 on the year is De Los Santos. Basically a fastball pitcher, comes from a 3/4 arm angle. We'll see how the Highlanders can handle him as Fusco steps in First pitch is in the dirt. Ball 1 to Fusco. Fusco had an excellent game against Revere as he was 2 for 3 in that game. Left stranded both times he was on base. That has been the story of the Highlander season so far, as he puts a charge right up the middle on that one. As that'll be into center field. Single right there for Fusco as he gets things started off for the Highlanders. That'll bring up Preston Ardolino. Ardolino, tough luck starter against Revere, pitched absolutely tremendously, went 6 innings. Struck out 12 in those 6 innings. Just an absolutely great performance. Gave way to the bullpen. Bullpen not able to lock it down, left with a 1-run lead. Also, solid day with the bat for Preston against Revere as well. 2 for 4 on the day. As he settles in and looks at ball 1. As De Los Santos leaves that one outside. Fusco at first for the Highlanders. Highlanders looking to get right here offensively. They've struggled throughout the season, batting well over 150 on the season as a team. It's Fusco away from first. That pitch in the dirt gets by the catcher, Peña Ortiz, and Fusco in safe at second. Anybody who has watched the Highlanders for any amount of time knows that they like to be active on the base paths, make things happen, force the other team to beat them. As Fusco now in scoring position with Preston Ardolino up ahead 2-0, I should say, in the count. De Los Santos checks the runner, pitches it outside, gets by the catcher Peña Ortiz, and Fusco on the pass ball able to take third base. So now the Highlanders go ahead run 90 feet away. Ardolino up 3-0 in the count. De Los Santos has got to go across the plate to him here. He's going to lose him. Infield comes in for Chelsea. That pitch outside, ball 4. 4 straight balls, and Ardolino is on first. Highlanders, nobody out here, bottom of the first. Runners on the corners. Colin Bourne will come to the plate. Bourne 1 for 4 against Revere. The other strong starter in the starting tandem of Ardolino and Bourne. As Ardolino away with the pitch. That's a fastball inside, gets by the catcher, Peña Ortiz, and the run will come in to score on the pass ball. So Fusco comes in to score. Ardolino takes second. Highlanders lead now 1-0 after Fusco comes across. Big week of baseball here at Trum Field for the Highlanders. They host Chelsea, then they will host the rival Medford Mustangs on Tuesday, and then the GBL leading Malden Golden Tornadoes come in on Wednesday. So the opportunity for the Highlanders to make some GBL noise this week. So Ardolino leads away. Pitch is across the plate. Bourne taking all the way there, trying to force De Los Santos to put it across the plate. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. De Los Santos in the dirt that time, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike now to Colin Bourne. Nobody out here, bottom half of the first inning. Highlanders have the opportunity to add to that 1-0 lead, as that's on the outside off the plate. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike now to Colin Bourne. And De Los Santos into the dirt that time, gets by the catcher. Ardolino will take third. Bourne is at first with the walk. And that'll bring up Graham Ross. Ross also 1 for 4 on the day against Revere. Chelsea will have a meeting on the mound. We're going to keep it right here. We're going to talk really quickly about what we've got going on for you here in the spring on Somerville Ed TV. As not only do we have Highlander baseball action as they try to battle their way back into the GBL, we have Highlander softball action as well. Young softball team showing some signs of some excellent play out in the field and at the plate. So some interesting things going on the softball diamond for the Highlanders. Also, don't forget about the indoor sport here in the spring. We've got volleyball here on Somerville Ed TV. The Highlander volleyball team tied for first right now in the GBL with perennial powers Revere and Malden, as they are all tied with 1 loss apiece. The Patriots took out the Highlanders. The Golden Tornadoes took out the Patriots. And the Highlanders took out the Golden Tornadoes. So, they will have return matchups coming up against Malden as well as Revere. We will also have coverage of a big matchup coming up against Cambridge. Cambridge right now still in the top 10 in the Globe volleyball rankings. In the Boston Globe, they are currently number 10. They began at number 6. They have dropped to number 10, but they are still in the top 10 in that top 20 ranking. So meeting done on the mound. Don't forget we have lacrosse as well, boys and girls lacrosse, as the girls lacrosse team defending their GBL championship, and the boys lacrosse team looking very good as well out on the turf. So keep it here on Somerville Ed TV. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, mash those buttons for us, and get us up to 3,000 subscriptions. We are so incredibly close. As Graham Ross, the Highlander catcher, settles in, nobody out here. Bottom of the first, Highlanders with the 1-0 lead. Runners on the corners as Ardolino and Bourne are at third and first respectively. As De Los Santos' pitch is in there for a ball on the outside. A little more velocity that time. So throw back to De Los Santos, gets away from him. Ardolino stays at third. Fusco led off with a single up the middle. He scored on a passed ball, as he stole second and obtained third on a pass ball as well. De Los Santos battling with his control. That one down at the knees, too low. Bourne away with the pitch. He will take second base. Throw goes into center, and that will allow Ardolino to come in to score. Bobbled out in center by Elijah Rivera, and Bourne will take third. Highlanders now up 2-0. Pitch was in for a ball for Graham Ross. So 2 balls, no strikes. Now the count to Ross. Bourne now at third after stealing second and advancing on the errant throw. Highlanders 1-6 overall, 1-4 in the GBL. If they can win out this homestand against Chelsea, Medford, and Malden, they will even their GBL record at 4-4, and that will get them right back into the chase. So big things happening at Trum this week for the Highlanders. De Los Santos pitches in there for strike 1 as Graham Ross swings and misses. 2 balls and a strike now to Ross. Ross, the senior on this team, the senior leader on this team. As the Highlanders graduated 8 players last year. Almost an entire starting lineup as that one gets by the catcher but bounces right back out in front of home plate. Bourne unable to advance. Three balls, 1 strike. Now the count to Graham Ross. As that's inside for ball 4. Pitch gets away from the catcher, but Bourne stays at third. So, third straight walk issued by De Los Santos. Highlanders have runners on the corners yet again. That will bring up Kyle Antonelli. As Antonelli getting the start out in left field today. Kyle 1 for 3 against Revere. Also left on base in that game. As Ross away with the pitch. Pitch is outside for ball 1. No throw down, so Graham Ross will take the stolen base. Bourne remains at third. Runners on second and third for the Highlanders. They've got 2 across as Antonelli looks to add to it. Antonelli scored the lone Highlander run on an RBI by Caleb Seeley against Revere after a walk. And was stranded earlier in that game at second base. Highlanders have been excellent pitching-wise, strong defensively as well. Antonelli up 2-0 in the count against De Los Santos. Very young Highlander team, and the bat is where the adjustments are so difficult. You have veteran leadership in Graham Ross at the catching position, so he's able to help out with the pitching as well. Ardolino making his first real opportunity to start this year as Preston, as he's a sophomore, but pitching excellently. Colin Bourne, of course, was a starter last year and did an excellent job and is continuing that excellent work this year. 3-0 is the count to Antonelli as that pitch inside might have brushed him as well. He'll take first base. That will load up the bases here in the bottom half of the first inning. Highlanders have 2 across, nobody out. Tommy Griffin, the center fielder, will come up. As we're going to have the possibility of a pitching change going on here, and that is exactly what's going to happen. As you see, this Chelsea team, very young program, very young team, learning the game of baseball basically on the fly in a lot of cases. As Leo Perez Francis will come in to pitch. De Los Santos will head out into left field. As he warms up, we will step away for a moment. Highlanders will be back out to face off against Leo Perez, the new Red Devil pitcher, when we return here on Somerville Ed TV. Oi. It's going to be a long one. Zero innings pitched, 1 hit. He's responsible for the runs on base. He walked 1, 2, 3, 4. Struck out none. All right. Let's see here. Who we got? What's this kid do? 24 is Leo. All right, that means number 5, Julie Jules. And Kendry is out here. I think I've got that. Yeah. No outs. he's really got a Buttermaker vibe. He really does. Buttermaker vibe, the head coach from Bad News Bears. He's got a Buttermaker vibe. I could see him with a bunch of Budweisers cleaning a pool. Anyway, we are back at Trum Field here on Somerville Ed TV as the pitching change is completed. Leo Perez on the mound, taking over for Kendry De Los Santos. He will face off against Tommy Griffin as the Highlanders have the bases loaded with nobody out here. Bottom of the first. First pitch there from Perez outside, ball one. We await to close the book on the start for Kendry, as he is responsible for the 3 runners currently on base. He walked 4 and allowed 1 hit. Pitch there up high over the head as Tommy Griffin has to duck out of the way. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Now the count to Griffin. Highlanders started off with a single up the middle by Sean Fusco. And then Preston Ardolino, Colin Bourne, Graham Ross, and Kyle Antonelli all walked. As that pitch left up high, ball 3, 3 balls, and no strikes to Tommy Griffin. Ardolino and Fusco came across to score earlier in the inning. De Los Santos fought with his control, was throwing many pitches into the dirt. Lots of challenges there for the catcher, Peña Ortiz. That pitch up high, ball 4. That's going to walk in a run. Griffin will take that RBI. Highlanders will all move up a base, and Bourne comes across to score the 3rd run of the inning. That'll bring up the Highlander pitcher, Caleb Seeley, as he settles in from the left-hand side. Seeley making his first start of the season. Has the opportunity to help his cause as Chelsea has the infield pulled in, trailing 3-0 with nobody out. So that pitch in there for a called strike. As you get the sense the umpire strike zone might grow a bit. That one's a fly ball left field, settling underneath it. Caleb De Los Santos, but he overran it to the front, and it got over his head. That's going to be a double. Oh, nope, a single, as Seeley was not aware the runner had not advanced from first or second, and I was not as well as I looked up and saw Caleb heading to second. So Caleb's going to get credit for the single and 2 RBI, or an RBI, I should say. As that ball hung up there, they didn't know whether Kendry would be able to make the play. That kept only Graham Ross as the scoring Highlander. Griffin will be at second, Antonelli at third. Donovan O'Brien comes to the plate. As O'Brien, young freshman first baseman for the Highlanders, cut off with that inside pitch. 2 balls and a strike now. 1 away here in the bottom half of the first inning. Highlanders have 4 runs across. They have runners on second and third. As that pitch outside, good velocity, popped the glove nicely, but did not get over the plate. Good eye by O'Brien on that one. Swung on that one as he went around. That'll set the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to O'Brien. Perez fires that one in. O'Brien swings, misses that one. The catcher fires it down to first to secure the strikeout, and that will do it for O'Brien. So he goes down by virtue of the strikeout. Highlander number 9 hitter Pete Coutreau will come up. Kutro left stranded at second base as the tying run in the 8th inning against Revere after he was hit by a pitch. 2 runners on here. 4-0 lead for the Highlanders as that pitch catches the outside corner for strike 1 for Perez.
Back to Somerville.
Perez. His offering outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the count to Kutro. Highlanders have 4 runs across as the Red Devils starter, Kendry De Los Santos, struggled with his control to open out this inning. That pitch outside, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike now to Kutro. So Highlanders looking to bat around Fusco, who led off this game with a single up the center, came around to score. Waits on deck. As Kutro holds off that one. Ball 3. Kutro, a junior, one of the elder statesmen on this young Highlander team. That's inside, ball 4. As Kutro will take first. That will load the bases yet again. So the Highlanders have batted around and Fusco is up after singling to lead off this inning.
Cutting corner base hit. Top of the order.
That pitch outside, ball 1. Fusco jumped on the second pitch he saw. Shot it right back up the middle for the single, stole second base. Took third on a pass ball and then took home on a pass ball. 2 away here. Bottom of the first as the Red Devils try to hold the Highlanders to the 4 runs they've earned. That's in there for a called strike from Perez. 1 ball, 1 strike now the count to Fusco. Good speed on the base pass for the Highlanders as Antonelli stands at third. It's a chopper towards second. Got into Julie Jules. As Jules unable to make the play, he'd come in from left field. As Perez was the starting second baseman. That's going to score the run for the Highlanders as Antonelli comes in to score. Fusco is on. That brings up Ardolino with the bases filled with Highlanders. That pitch inside, ball 1. Bouncing around, but Griffin stays at third. Perez came on in relief of Kendry De Los Santos. Ardolino walked in the first. Gets out ahead, 2 balls, no strikes now against Perez. That pitch down in the dirt. Ball 3. We can close the book on Kendry De Los Santos. No innings, 1 hit, 5 runs on 5 runs, 2 of which were earned, 4 walks, no strikeouts. And that pitch up high, that'll be ball 4 to Ardolino as he walks. Highlanders get another one as Ardolino will take the RBI. That is a 6-0 lead now for the Highlanders. Colin Bourne will come to the plate. Bases still filled with Highlanders.
Thank you. Cut corner base hit.
pitch down low to Bourne. Ball one. Again, talk about the Chelsea baseball program, kind of a learning on the fly situation for a lot of the Chelsea players. Hear a lot of coaching coming from their dugout, a lot of active coaching. Perez's offering, swung on and missed by Bourne. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count to Colin. Colin walked and came around to score earlier this inning. That one, a number there off the handle. It's going to get out into right field as Jules chases it down out into the grass. 2 runs will come across to score on the single by Bourne. As he got that one in on the handle, was able to force it out into right field for the single. 2 ribbies there for Colin. The Highlanders lead 8-0, and that'll bring up Graham Ross. Ross walked and stole second back in the early portions of this inning. Came around to score.
Last batter, just so we don't kill our pitchers. We got 7 games this week. No rain either, Mike. It's crazy. I'm praying for a thunderstorm.
Ross, chopper back to the mound. Fielded by the shortstop, fired across, and that will do it as Luis Sotolara able to make the play there. That will do it for the Highlanders in the bottom half of the first inning. They get 8 runs across. They lead 8-0 as we move to the top half of the second. The Red Devils will have numbers 4, 5, and 6 coming up to face Caleb Seeley here on Somerville Ed TV. Back here at Trum Field on Somerville Ed TV. Highlanders leading this one 8-0 as we move to the top half of the second inning. It'll be Xavier Santiago, Leo Perez Francis, and Julie Jules for the Red Devils as Xavier Santiago swings and misses at the first offering from Caleb Seeley. Seeley allowed 1 hit in the first inning, and that's a nice job there by X. So he pops that one out into center field. He'll be on at first base. Good job of hitting there by Xavier Santiago. Went down and got that pitch. That'll bring up Leo Perez. Perez started the game at second base, was brought in to relieve at pitcher after their starter, Kendry De Los Santos, struggled with his control, walking 5 in a row. Seeley checks X at first. Fastball up high. Leo can't catch up to the high cheese. Strike 1. Highlander pitching once again has been excellent this year. Great starting pitching led by Colin Bourne and Preston Ardolino. Now Caleb Seeley getting his first opportunity. Seeley bats from the left-hand side, pitches righty though. So that fastball's inside, ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Talking to head coach O'Donnell, his focus for Seeley today, throw strikes, get the ball over the plate. He has done a good job of that so far. This one popped up high into this high sky as Fusco settles underneath it. Sean didn't have to move much for that one, as he squeezes it for the out. 1 away here, top half of the first inning. Top half of the second, I should say. Julie Jules comes to the plate. As Jules started out in left field and then moved to second base when the pitching change happened. Xavier Santiago stands at first. He led off this inning with a single, 1 away. Seeley checks him, fires it in there. High heat, called strike 1. As we watch the Chelsea pitchers, they're struggling with their control. It'll be interesting as that's a curveball, gets around on it, drives it out into left field, and that's going to go foul. That's 2 strikes on Jules. It'll be interesting to watch the strike zone for our home plate umpire today. If he were to broaden, say, the strike zone for one pitcher, you would assume he would do the same. As the curveball once again, this one popped up again. Bourne settles underneath it at third, and he will squeeze it there. 2 away for the Red Devils here in top half of the second inning. That'll bring up Pena Ortiz, their catcher. Joelme Pena Ortiz. Got a hold up here as we change the helmet of our batter. I believe he was going to bat from the left-handed side, and he had the right-handed helmet up. The ear flap on the wrong side, so I had to get him with the right-handed ear flap for the left-handed batter as Pena Ortiz settles in. Seeley checks the runner at first. It's a ground ball first base. Past O'Brien out into right field as Santiago turns at second. Cutro gets it in quickly. But the Red Devils have something brewing as they have 2 runners on. That'll bring up De Los Santos. As he started out on the pitcher's mound, struggled with his control. On the hook for the loss currently. Moved out into left field after the pitching change. Now Chelsea runners on first and second, 2 away here. Top half of the second inning. 8-0 the Highlander lead. Pitch catches the outside for strike 1 as the fastball is in there from Seeley. Fastball swung on and missed. Nice location right at the knees and inside on De Los Santos. Not really able to do much with that pitch. Caleb can put another one in that location. He'll probably be out of this inning as there's 2 away. And he does. Swung on and missed by De Los Santos, and that will do it for the Red Devil threat in the top half of the second inning. Highlanders lead this one 8-0 as we move to the bottom of the second here on Somerville Ed TV. Back at Trum Field on Somerville Ed TV, bottom half of the second inning. Highlanders leading this one 8-0 as Antonelli will lead off for the Highlanders, followed by Griffin and Seeley. So they will go up against Leo Perez. Perez's first pitch behind Antonelli for ball 1. Antonelli walked on 4 pitches in the first inning. He was the last batter faced by Kendry De Los Santos. He's been pulled from the game completely as he was moved out into left field, had an at-bat, struck out to end the inning for the Red Devils and has been pulled from the game. He's been replaced in left by the starting right fielder, Demisio Perez, and Eamon Subney has been brought in to right field. As that pitch from Perez inside, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike now to Kyle Antonelli. Fastball there from Perez. Antonelli a little bit ahead of it. Fouls it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count. Highlanders leading 8-0. Looking for their second victory of the season. Big week for the Highlanders here at Trum Field. They'll be facing off against the Red Devils today. Then they get the Mustangs of Medford in tomorrow on Tuesday. And the GBL leading Golden Tornadoes of Malden will be in here on Wednesday. As the count runs full now to Antonelli. That pitch down low, ball 4. Walk for Antonelli. He will take first. That'll bring up Tommy Griffin. Griffin was the first person to face Perez when he came into the game. Griffin walked and then came around to score. As Griffin fouls that one back into the screen. Strike 1 against Tommy. Highlanders looking for a get-well game here against Chelsea. Chelsea winless in the GBL. Highlanders 1 win in the GBL. So looking for a get-well game and the opportunity, obviously, to stay out of the basement of the GBL. But the Highlanders have struggled throughout the season with their offense. Pitching has been excellent as Antonelli takes second on the pass ball. I would call that a wild pitch, actually, because that was well in the dirt. Tough situation for Peña Ortiz on that one. So the Highlanders, a runner in scoring position, nobody out here. Bottom of the second. 2-1 the count to Antonelli. That pitch down low, ball 3. 3-1 now the count to Griffin as Antonelli stands at second. That pitch in there, called strike 2 to Griffin. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count is Perez has gone full to the first 2 Highlander batters of the inning. Payoff pitch outside, ball 4. So Griffin will head down to first. That'll bring up Caleb Seeley. Seeley singled, an RBI single into left field in the first inning, helping his cause as he's the starting pitcher for the Highlanders. He was out as he tried to go to second. The runner, Griffin, did not advance from second. So Caleb had to try to get back to first, did not beat the throw, as that's in there for called strike on the outside corner. Highlanders have 2 runners on, nobody out here. Bottom of the second inning, leading 8-0. As Seeley puts a charge into that one into right field. Eamon Subney comes in, makes the play, throws it into the cutoff man. And that will hold the runners at third and second, respectively. Caleb Seeley in with his second single of the day. That'll load up the bases. Brings up Donovan O'Brien, the freshman first baseman for the Highlanders. O'Brien struck out in the first inning. Perez's only strikeout so far today. It's that pitch outside, ball 1 to O'Brien. I have to check myself. That is not O'Brien at the plate as I double check myself. Caden Martell has been brought in to pinch hit for O'Brien. I was going to say, O'Brien shrunk a little bit there. It's Caden Martell, another freshman. Looks at a ball on the outside as he runs the count full. 3 balls, no strikes. .30 offering to Martell, too high, ball 4. Caden will work himself an RBI. Bases loaded walk, and the Highlanders now lead 9-0. If you are curious at home about the mercy rule, it is 10 runs, and it does not take effect until 4.5 innings have been completed. As Pete Coutreau steps in, Coutreau walked and scored back in the first. Pitch in there from Perez, called strike 1. Bases still loaded here. Highlanders now up 9-0. As that's popped out into left field, that looks like it's dangerous, and it will get down out in front of the left fielder, Demisio Perez. Highlanders will move the merry-go-round around one as Kutro will take the RBI single, and the Highlanders lead 10-0. Griffin came in to score on that one. Seeley now stands at third. Martell is at second. Kutro at first. Sean Fusco steps up as Fusco, 1 for 2 on the day, singled and reached on an error back in the first, scoring 2 runs as well. Swing and a miss at Perez's first offering. No balls and a strike now to Fusco. Highlanders, nobody out here. Bottom of the second as they lead 10-0. That pitch outside called strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to Fusco. Perez's pitch down low. Ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the count to Sean. Preston Ardolino stands on base. He has walked twice. Or on deck, I should say. He has walked twice. He's been on base twice. Fusco out ahead of that one, and that is the second strikeout for Perez. 1 away here, bottom half of the second inning, and that'll bring up Ardolino. Preston walked twice in the first, came around to score once. Stands with the bases loaded. Most powerful bat in the Highlander lineup. Cranked a no-doubter against Lynn English. Easily over 400 feet. Perez's 1-0 offering. In there for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the count to Ardolino.
Thank you, Dave. That was the one.
1 away here for the Highlanders in the bottom half of the second. They lead 9-0. Bases filled with Highlanders. So Ardolino swings and pops that one into the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the count to Preston. Preston very focused with his swing at the plate. An excellent smooth swing for Preston. As that's outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to Preston. That one's skied down the left field line. Charging in, unable to make the play as it pops fair is Demisio Perez, as the Highlanders will get 2 in on the pop single into left field by Preston Ardolino. Highlanders now leading this one 11-0. Runners on second and third. Or strike that. Runner did come around emptying the bases. Strike that. Sorry about that. So Ardolino stands at second. Kutro came around as well. Highlanders with the 12-0 lead. Colin Bourne will step in. First pitch down low against Bourne. Ball 1. One away here, bottom half of the second inning. Highlanders leading this one 12-0. Bourne pops this one high into the sky, charging in, overrunning it is the third baseman, Ludy Ramon Sanchez. But Martell or Lucas Oliver, who was pinch running in that situation. Bourne stands at first. Graham Ross comes to the plate. Ardolino at second. That's down in the dirt. Ball 1 to Graham. Graham walked, scored a run, and grounded out to shortstop to end the first inning. That one inside, called strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count 2 Ross. Pitch gets by, but the Highlanders seem to have called off the dogs on the base paths. Ardolino and Bourne staying put at first and second. That pitch up high. Ball 2 to Ross. Score stands 13-0. Scoreboard reads 10-0. Planning for the 10-run rule. As Ross will take his second walk of the game. Highlanders will once again bat around. As Antonelli, who led off this inning with a walk, came around to score, will bat again. Bases filled once again with Highlanders. Let's see if that is Kyle up at the plate. Maybe it cannot tell from the numbers. That is Owen Jones at the plate. As O'Donnell, Coach O'Donnell, emptying the bench early. Brings in Jones as a pinch hitter for Antonelli. Count 1-1 to Jones. That pitch outside. Ball 2, 2 balls and a strike now to Jones. That's a chopper by Perez, fielded by the second baseman or third baseman Soto Lara. He fires it across, and that will do it. As the 6-3 putout will end the inning for the Highlanders. They get 5 more across. They lead 13-0 as we move to the bottom half, or top half, I should say, of the third inning. The Highlanders have that 13-0 lead here at Trum on Somerville Ed TV. Back here at Trum Field on Somerville Ed TV as we have had a lineup movement by head coach O'Donnell. We will go over the changes in the field and on the mound. On the mound, it's Tommy Griffin coming on for the Highlanders in relief of Caleb Seeley. His first offering is swung on and missed by Pedro Domicio Perez for strike 1. Ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike, now to Domicio Perez. Tommy Griffin out there on the mound, not messing around, getting the ball, firing it right back in. As that pitch down in the dirt, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike from Griffin. Looking around the diamond now for the Highlanders at first base is Colin Bourne. Second base remains Sean Fusco. That one's in there for a called strike, even to count 2 balls, 2 strikes. At second base, Van Easter. At third base, or at shortstop, I should say, Van Easter. At third base, Hugh Spear. That's in there for ball 3. Full count now to Domicio Perez. We'll get the outfield in a moment. That's in there for called strike 3. As Griffin gets the first by strikeout. Out in the outfield, starting in left, Caden Martell is in left for the Highlanders. Lucas Oliver in center, and Owen Jones is in right field. As Cunningham Spear, Hugh Cunningham Spear, that is who is at third base for the Highlanders. Lots of youth out in the field as Chelsea turns their lineup over. Leadoff man Elijah Rivera up. As Rivera flew out to start the game off. First offering from Griffin is a ball. That's up high, ball two, 2 balls, no strikes. Now the count to Rivera. Rivera will take time out. Highlanders get the opportunity to get Griffin on the mound as well today, as Caleb Seeley went 2 innings, allowed 3 hits, no runs, didn't walk anyone, and struck out 1. That's in there for called strike from Griffin. 2 balls and a strike. Now the count to Elijah Rivera. Swung on and missed. Nice pitch there from Tommy. Good velocity outside. Evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rivera. That one fouled back into the screen as Rivera stays alive. Count remains 2-2. Griffin looking to get a breaker there. Didn't quite have the right grip on it, I don't think. Left it up high and outside. Runs the count full. 1 away, payoff pitch here to Rivera. Fouled back into the screen. Re-rack it, will do it again. As you look around the Highlander defense now, it is predominantly sophomores and freshmen. Got the junior Colin Bourne at first. Senior Graham Ross behind the plate. Called strike 3. As Tommy Griffin gets his second backward K. That'll bring up Ludi Ramon Sanchez. As Ludi grounded back to the pitcher back in the first inning. Highlanders up 13-0 here. Top half of the third inning. As they look for their second GBL victory of the season. Ludi swings and misses at that one. As Tommy Griffin has come on in relief of Caleb Seeley here in the third inning. And Griffin pitching very well. That one fouled out onto Broadway. No balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to Ramon Sanchez. As Griffin, 2 strikeouts to start this inning, looking to close it out with a third K. Curveball catches the outside corner. 3 backward Ks for Tommy Griffin. Down go the Red Devils, and we will move to the bottom half of the third inning. So the Highlanders lead this one 13-0 here on Somerville Ed TV. Back at Trum Field here on Somerville Ed TV. Highlanders leading the Red Devils of Chelsea 13-0 as we move to the bottom half of the third inning. Tommy Griffin will lead off for the Highlanders as he has been brought on to pitch. As Griffin got 3 strikeouts, all 3 looking in the top half of this inning. Looks at strike 1 from the new pitcher on the mound, Elijah Rivera, for the Red Devils as Leo Perez gives way to Elijah. Strike 2 to Griffin. No balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to Tommy Griffin. So we will get the opportunity to see some younger Highlanders at the plate as head coach Matty O'Donnell has emptied his bench with a 13-0 lead. That one's in there for a called strike 3 as Elijah Rivera gets the strikeout. We'll close the book on Leo Perez for the Red Devils. He went 2 innings, allowed 7 runs, 5 of which were earned on 6 hits, walked 6, and struck out 2. As the Highlanders will have Hugh Cunningham Spear come up, a young freshman. Curveball by Rivera just drops right into the higher upper portion of the strike zone for called strike 1, 2. Cunningham Spear swung on and missed by Hugh. So he is down 0-2 with 1 away here. Cunningham Spear was at the plate against Revere with the opportunity to tie that game in the 8th inning. He also came in relief of Ardolino in that game. Tough loss there for the freshman as he took the loss against Revere. Good to see him back out there, swinging the bat. He's also playing shortstop for the Highlanders right now. Or I'm sorry, he's playing third base for the Highlanders right now. Looks at ball 1, 1 ball, 2 strikes now. The count to Cunningham Spear. That one's down low, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Cunningham Spear. Rivera rocks, delivers, fires that one in there. Called strike. And that is called strike 3. Cunningham Spear couldn't believe it. It looked like it was up around his eyeballs. We are getting to the point in the game where the strike zone might be a little generous with a 13-0 lead. As Rivera, the beneficiary of that. As Caden Martell comes in, looks at strike 1. Martell, another one of the freshmen on this team getting playing time as the curveball drops into the lower portion of the zone for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to Martell, 2 away here. As Chelsea looks for their first scoreless inning. Martell dances out of the way of that one for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the count to Caleb Martell. Or Caden Martell. I keep calling Caden Caleb. I've got to stop doing that. Sorry, Caden. That one's up high. Umpire looked like he was thinking about raising the arm up, but he left it down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I mean, it was actually over Caden's head, so that would have been a hard one to call. And that one's even higher, and that's going to run the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count to Caden Martell. Two away here, bottom half of the 3rd inning. Chelsea looking for their first 1-2-3 inning behind Elijah Rivera, but instead the walk. It's Caden Martell. Good eye there. Dances out of the way. He will be at first. That will bring up Lucas Oliver, Jr. Started at center field against Revere. As that's down low, called strike 1. As Martell leads away from first. Rivera, tough lefty out there for Chelsea. Pitches inside as Oliver had to dance out of the way of it. That pitch. Ball 2, 2 balls and a strike now. Two away here, bottom of the 3rd inning. Highlanders leading 13-0. Martell dances away from first. Ground ball, third base. Perez unable to come up with it. And the Highlanders will have runners on first and second after the E5. That'll flip the lineup over for the Highlanders. Sean Fusco will come to the plate. Fusco, 1 for 3 on the day. Struck out and reached by virtue of an error against Perez. Led the game off with a single. Came around to score both times he's been on base. First offering from Rivera is in there for a called strike. Highlanders with runners on first and second. 2 away here. Bottom of the third, leading 13-0. That pitch left up high by Rivera. Runners dancing away, will return. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count to Fusco. That pitch outside by Rivera. 2 balls and a strike to Fusco. Highlanders got 8 runs across in the first inning. 5 runs across in the second. 2 away here, have runners on first and second with the top of the order up as Fusco skies this one. It's going to be a difficult play for somebody as ranging back was the shortstop, Soto Lara, but unable to come up with the play as the center fielder, De Los Santos, did not charge in aggressively on that one. So Fusco will stand at first with the single. Run came around to score. That was Martel. And Lucas Oliver stands at third for the Highlanders. Runners on the corners. Another run in. They lead 14-0. As Rivera's pitch up high to Van Easter. Easter brought in at shortstop for the Highlanders. As that's in there for called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count to Easter. 2 away here for the Highlanders. Bottom of the third as they lead 14-0. Curve ball. Slow Uncle Charlie there. Van Easter out ahead of it there. 1 ball, 2 strikes now as Rivera looks for his 3rd strikeout of the inning. Easter stays alive with the tap back into the screen. That's a chopper, third base side. Perez charges in once again, unable to make the play cleanly. And Easter will stand at first. Run will come in for the Highlanders. They lead 15-0 now. Colin Bourne will come to the plate. As runners will remain on for the Highlanders, second and third. First and second. That's a chopper, second base. Jules makes the play, fires to first, and they get him as Bourne is out on the 4-3 putout, and that will do it for the Highlanders, but they get 2 more runs across and make the score 15-0 as we move to the top half of the 4th inning here at Trum on Somerville Ed TV. Back at Trum Field on Somerville Ed TV. Highlanders leading 15-0 as we move to the top half of the 4th inning. Chelsea will have numbers 3, 4, and 5. Soto Lara, Santiago, and Perez coming up to face the new Highlander pitcher, Sean Fusco. Sean has moved in from second base, starts him off with a breaker for called strike 1 to Soto Lara. Sean comes on to spell Tommy Griffin. Griffin came on in relief and struck out the 3 Red Devils that he saw in the 3rd. As Fusco's second offering in the dirt, ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike, now to Soto Lara. With Fusco moving to the pitcher's mound, curveball breaks across the plate. Strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes, now the count to Soto Lara. Griffin moves to shortstop. Easter moves to second base, and Fusco moves to the pitcher's mound. And that's in there. Cold strike 3. As Chelsea has now gone down by virtue of the K, 4 straight batters, all called strike 3s. Soto Lara looked like he wanted to argue that one for a bit. 15-0 game. Not really arguments to be had as Xavier Santiago steps in. Santiago singled back in the first, was left stranded, or second was left stranded at second base. As Fusco's pitch fouled back into the screen by Santiago. Fusco curves that one right across the plate. Strike 2, no balls, 2 strikes now the count. As Fusco showing some nice movement on his pitches. As the right-handed batters diving away from the batter's box. Swung on and missed, but Santiago away down the line as Graham Ross lost the ball. So the strikeout. And then the swinging third strike. Santiago will be at first. That'll bring up Leo Perez. As Perez popped out to Fusco back when he was playing second base in the second inning. Santiago leads away from first. Fusco looks in for the sign. Kicks and delivers down in the dirt to Perez. Santiago will head to second base. One ball, no strikes to Perez. As Santiago leads away from second. Fusco fires that one in, called strike. One ball, one strike. Now the count to Perez, one away here, top half of the fourth inning. Highlanders with the 15-0 lead. Chelsea threatening with Xavier Santiago standing at second with only one out. Curveball swung on and missed by Perez. Well out ahead of that one. One ball, 2 strikes now the count. Fusco checks the runner. Santiago is away. That's in there. Called strike 3. And Santiago will take third. So Fusco has struck out the side, but on the swinging strike drop ball, Santiago has ended up at third base. That'll bring up Julie Jules. Popped out to third back in the second inning. That's in there for called strike 1 to Jules. 2 away here, top half of the fourth inning. Highlanders leading 15-0. Would love to maintain the shutout here, but Xavier Santiago is at third and has other ideas. As the pitch gets away from Graham Ross, Santiago tries to come in, but it bounced right back to Graham. And Santiago runs into the tag, and that will do it for the Red Devils here in the top half of the fourth inning. So Highlanders lead this one 15-0. We'll be back for the bottom half here on Somerville Ed TV. Is that it? They are going to do the after 3.5 completed. That will be the end of the game as they're going to call it for 15-0, the Highlander victory. As Sean Fusco came on to strike out 3. That tag out of Santiago is going to do it. Mercy rule in effect. The Highlanders will move their record to 5-2 overall, or 6-2 overall, or I'm sorry, flip that, 2-6 overall, and 2-3 in the GBL. That gives them the opportunity, or 2-4 I should say, in the GBL. That gives them the opportunity this week with games against Medford and Malden coming up to catapult themselves right back into this GBL race. So they did what they needed to do today against Chelsea, as Caleb Seeley will take the win for the Highlanders. Tommy Griffin came in relief, struck out the side. Sean Fusco came in relief of Griffin, striking out 3 Red Devils as well. The Highlanders take the 15-0 victory, and they will be back here at Trum tomorrow to face off against the Mustangs of Medford. That's going to do it for us here on Somerville Ed TV today. Thank you so much for watching at home. We really appreciate it as the Highlanders bring home the victory. Thank you, Matt Frenduto on camera and Joe Constantine on direction. I am Todd Harmon, and you have been watching Somerville Highlander Baseball on Somerville Ed TV.